Sonic, the heart of your system.
Hi and welcome back to a new video. You can see we are not in my YouTube studio, we are at Mary's place, and that is also the place where she's cutting all my YouTube videos. And right now we're standing in front of Project Fox, which is a project we featured roughly 2 years ago on my YouTube channel. And it's a Lee desk which has a 9900K inside, and currently that is still fine. We are still producing 4K 30 FPS footage, but from 2021 on we planned to upgrade our video footage to 4K 60 FPS because Sony brought out their new Alpha 7S III video camera, which should be absolutely impressive when it comes to the video footage, but this camera keeps getting delayed and delayed. That's why we're still stuck at 4K 30, which is still fine, but going forward to 4K 60 FPS, it will be much tougher to cut the footage. And we figured out that with a 9900K, it's not going to work out. And then we did some testing to see what kind of CPUs we will need, and yeah, a decent upgrade was absolutely necessary. And that's what we're going to do in today's video. You can probably hear it in the background, and that is this noise you can hopefully hear is because the pump is running at 100%. At least this time it's running at 100%. Because over the last 1.5 or 2 years we had to replace the DDC pump twice, and now the third pump is dead. For whatever reason, I have absolutely no explanation for this, and let's say in the last 5 or 6 years in my career I never had so many DDC pumps failing, and I really don't know why. It's the same stuff we're always doing. There's nothing you can really tweak to those pumps. That's why I really have no explanation for it. Anyway, that's why you can see that the NAS system is already gone. Mary already transformed it into her own separate system. She also cut a video about that, shot a video about that. Will be featured on my channel as well. Probably only in German because yeah, she's only confident with doing German videos, which is fine. But going back to our main system, right now you can hear that the pump is spinning at 100%. But can you see this air bubble right here on top? I mean, you can see the pump running at 100% speed, and there's definitely some movement in here, but this bubble is not moving. And sometimes the CPU temperature is also out of control, which indicates that there is something somewhere blocking the system. It could be inside the CPU block, inside the GPU block. I have absolutely no idea, but there is only one solution. We have to dismantle the whole system. I can already spoiler what kind of system we're going to use, or the base which we're going to use for the system. It will be AMD Threadripper, because when we were at the point to decide what kind of hardware we're going to use, we had obviously the choice of going to socket 1200, but then 10900K, it's maximum 10 cores, doesn't really make much sense. AM4 would be an option, but we did some testing with 4K 60 FPS and you need at least 12 or 14 cores. And then you're limited to maximum 16. That's why I thought TRX 40 with AMD Threadripper makes much more sense. And also keeping in mind that hopefully like mid next year, I would assume we will get the next generation of AMD Threadripper, which means if we don't have enough performance, we can still upgrade it later. That's why I think it will be the best choice. From the previous system, we will reuse the SSD simply because we don't have to reinstall Windows. We'll make it much more convenient. And we're going to reuse the 2080 Ti. Simply because you don't need more performance for Adobe Premiere. It's still absolutely sufficient for the live playback. Upgrading to a 3080 or 3090 will not give you more performance, also not more rendering speed at the end. And yeah, let's go for the system. First step, draining the coolant. That is the most annoying part. Let's see how far we can get with this bottle right here. Yeah, that looks great. You can see there are no residues whatsoever. Yeah, pastel fluids. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to blow through this pipe to push out this part right here, but it seems to be completely blocked. There's no way I can blow through there. It's always impressive, but also kind of depressing how fast you can disassemble such a system, but then remembering how much time it took to build this thing. But looking at those tubes, then I think it was the right decision to go for glass tubing inside Project Irrationality. You can already see, just looking at the tube itself, it looks kind of, I don't know, like milky. Not sure how to translate that, but you can see all those white residues inside here. And it doesn't matter if it's a red fluid or like a blue fluid. All those pastel fluids have this kind of whitish, I don't know, white particles inside there. And yeah, this system, I mean, it has been running all the time usually. It didn't really just stand still, and still you can see all those residues in there. Excuse me, what is this?
Oops.
One positive thing is that conductor now is still liquid even after 2 years. You can see right here, you can still move it. That is a great thing, so that the bad temperatures were not caused by like dried up liquid metal. Yeah, and that is our filter. You can see all this, I don't know, like pastel particles sitting in the structure, and that is blocking everything completely. I'm surprised that any kind of fluid still went through this. I mean, you can see this jet plate it's completely blocked, like 100%. It's time to take a look at our 2080 Ti, and the thing is, we're not going to custom water cool this system again. Well, the video editing rig we will build now out of partially the old components. Reason for that is the system has to be reliable. I cannot wait like a week until the system is fixed. So we can start with video production. That's something that just doesn't work, and that's why we decided to just go for AIOs in a new video editing system, simply because if an AIO fails, you just order a new one and you just place it in there. It takes 20 minutes to replace, and we actually already got backup units for our video editing system. In case one of the AIOs fail, we can just straightforward replace it, and we will not have any kind of video editing rig downtimes. And for the 2080 Ti, we're going to reuse this card, and we will also fix going to put an AIO on this card. But considering how the CPU block looked inside, we are also going to disassemble completely the EK block and just check the internals out of curiosity. I always find it interesting how those backplates, or let's say anything with thermal pads, looks like after a long usage. And here you can see all those silicon-based pads, how they're like bleeding out. You can see all the silicon. It looks like a little bit greasy around the pad, and especially down there. Looks like there's a lot of silicon oil, and as I pointed out many times before, this is just a visual thing. It's not a problem from a technical perspective, because the silicon oil is not electrically conductive, but just kind of bleeding out over the time. The card itself looks good. There's nothing negative I can spot right now. Pretty much the same picture inside the GPU block as what we've already seen inside the CPU block. Well, you might wonder, like, why is there nothing in the center which is blocking? Yeah, well, we kind of used the GPU block the wrong way, but it was more convenient for our tubing. That's why you can see the water was blocking from the left and from the right, but the result is the same. You can see all this slimy stuff right here. It's blocking all the internals. And at the top cover, that is probably an area where the flow rate was very low, and then we also get those pastel residues in this corner right here. I already mentioned that we're not going to use custom water cooling again, and unfortunately we dumped all the original cooler stuff. I don't have the stock fan anymore, but NZXT has this Caseking M22, and in combination with the G12, yeah, we can mount an AIO on the GPU, and that's actually a quite neat solution, especially considering that it's a white shroud, because the whole entire system is going to be white. The idea of this mounting bracket is, well, you first have to mount your mounting bracket on there. those things right here, and then you can attach your AIO to it. And those little steel parts are marked with NNA for NVIDIA and AMD. For some reason I had to use the AMD parts on my 2080 Ti. Yeah, let's see if this fits. Right now I'm just going to check if the M22 fits with the AMD mounting brackets on the NVIDIA card. And then we will do the final mount later once we have the system pretty much ready to go. Because I'm not sure at which position we will exactly place the AIO later, but I have to make sure that it fits on the card. That was a clear case of RTFM, which I clearly didn't do, because then I would know that the G12 frame is only compatible with Asetek based AIOs, for example the Caseking X series, like this one, the C63.
Yeah.
And the M is not compatible because it's lacking the mounting mechanism. Well, the typical mounting mechanism you all know from those Asetek AIOs, where you have this frame you can unlock. Yeah. Now we have this 280 AIO, which is going to be a challenge to fit it inside the case, but we will try our best. And now the G12 mounting frame should easily attach to the AIO, and that is pretty much our cooling block. We have the fan in the back, and the fan will blow air directly on the power stages, but only the back part of the power stages, only this area. The front part will not be actively cooled. It should still work. I mean, the load on the card will be quite moderate. It's just going to be used for video editing, and it should work. We will see. But we will cover all that in the next video, because we already have 10 PM and I'm getting tired. And there is no chance that we're going to finish the rig today. That's why you're going to see the rest in the next video. Alright, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Bye bye.